Streamers have more options than ever right now, which can make it difficult to know which streaming service is the right one for you.
Or what combination of streaming services gives you the channels you want for a price you're willing to pay.
At the high end of the streaming space are live TV streaming services, with YouTube TV, Hulu Live, and FuboTV being among the top 3 premium live TV streaming services.
It's been about 18 months since we last tested FuboTV, and they've made enough recent changes that it was worth giving them a fresh test. In this FuboTV review, we cover price, available channels, show you what it's like to use the premium live TV streaming service on both a computer and smart TV, and we'll cover features cord cutters care about, like cloud DVR, 4K content, Dolby sound integration, and supported devices.
At the end, we'll tell you whether or not Fubo is worth its price tag. Now let's kick off our FuboTV review with its price and plans. At time of filming, FuboTV has 3 plans: Pro for $69.99 a month, Elite for $79.99 a month, and Latino for $32.99 a month. It also offers a 7-day free trial, which you can and should use to test the service free before paying for a month.
Looking at what you get for the price, the FuboTV Pro plan includes 117 channels and cloud DVR with 1,000 hours of recording capacity.
A feature worth calling out briefly is screen number, because it's really good. FuboTV now offers the ability to stream on unlimited screens, including 10 at home.
Yeah, if you have a lot of people in your home who want to watch TV at the same time, this is a pretty nice feature to have.
For sure. Now let's look at the FuboTV Elite plan. It includes everything in the Pro plan plus more channels, 172 to be exact at time of filming, which include the Fubo Extra package and News Plus channels, as well as more than 130 events in 4K. We won't cover the Latino plan here, but it does come with 41 Spanish language channels, a 250-hour cloud DVR, and the ability to stream on 2 screens at once. Instead, we'll focus on the Pro versus Elite plans, since those are the main ones.
Yeah, Fubo has long been a popular cable alternative for people who want to cut the cord and still watch live sports without cable. But as you'll see when we get into the FuboTV channels, it still lacks the Turner networks, which is a huge problem for basketball fans and sports fans in general.
It sure is. Another problem for FuboTV that we need to touch on quickly is all the changes it has made recently. Just over the past few months, they created a special news tier with 4 little-watched and rather obscure news channels, switched to a quarterly billing plan and then dropped it 10 days later, eliminated their $65 a month starter plan, raised their base price to $70 a month, and gave subscribers a 1,000-hour DVR and 10 at-home streams, which was up from 250 and 3 respectively, and then removed 4K access from its new basic streaming plan for new customers.
Yeah, so if you want 4K content, you're going to have to pay $80 a month for it. Honestly, they are a very solid service, but it seems like they can't get out of their own way. But let's move on to the FuboTV channel list. As we've already covered, the FuboTV app gives you access to live TV and your local channels, as well as about 120 or 155 networks, depending on the plan you choose at time of filming.
The FuboTV channel lineup includes 27 of the top 35 cable channels.
Upgrading to the Elite plan costs an extra $10 a month and includes an extra 56 channels at time of filming. That's 44 in the Fubo Extra package and 12 in the News Plus package. For professional sports fans, it may be worth it to get the Elite plan, as it includes NBA TV, the NHL Network, and MLB Network.
Yeah, as well as Pac-12 networks, ESPN News, ESPNU, and the ACC and SEC networks. Although it's worth noting that you can get all of those channels in YouTube TV's base plan, which costs $65 a month, and you get all the Turner networks. That makes YouTube TV a better deal if those are the channels you want.
It does, but FuboTV is a better collection of Spanish language and international sports offerings. As its channel list shows, it has Galavision, Universo, Unamas, and all the BN sports channels, as well as the TUDN extra stations.
If you're a soccer fan, Fubo really is the best bet for you. But beyond sports, the streaming service has long been known for having a very well-rounded list of news and entertainment channels, including more RSNs than any other streaming service other than DirecTV Stream.
Fubo carries 14 of them, 16 if you include NBC Sports Chicago Plus and NBC Sports Philadelphia Plus. Your access to the channels is determined by the home zip code on your account, and you can't see other area RSNs.
Really, it's easier to show what networks Fubo doesn't have than those that it does, and the obvious glaring hole is the Turner networks, most notably CNN, HLN, TBS, and TNT. Fubo has hinted that it could get the Turner networks, and if they do add them, it's possible that rates could go up, or they may cut something else to make up for adding the channels.
Now let's move on to what it's like to use FuboTV. We'll show you both on a computer and a smart TV. Now, when you launch Fubo on a TV, you'll see a large content tile at the top, followed by rows of content Fubo thinks you will like. Scrolling right brings up additional titles in that category, and clicking on anything brings up the option to play, record, or view more episodes. You can choose to record a single episode or an entire series.
Along the top, you'll see additional content filtering options. On the far left is a search icon that you can use to search for anything by title or keyword. Then to the right of the Home tab is Sports, followed by Shows, Movies, Guide, and Recordings. On the far right is your profile. Clicking within one of those options, say Sports for example, brings up more content related to sports, which you can use to further filter content and find something to watch. Now on a computer, options are similar. You'll see Home on the far left, followed by Sports, Shows, Movies, Guide, and Recordings. Your search function is over on the right, and your profile is just to the right of that. Scrolling down brings up rows of content in categories like Live, Shows, Movies, News, Sports, Your Recordings, and more.
Clicking the Live Guide brings up the Live TV Guide. On a TV, the content you were watching will play in the background unless you disable that option. You'll see the date and time at the top of the guide and options on the left to filter content. You can choose from all channels, recommended, trending, entertainment, news, and more. Up on the top left, you can view channels by networks or manage channels. Clicking the View by Networks lets you explore content from ABC, for instance, by series, movies, or schedule. You can view content by today's date or 6 days out.
Clicking the Manage Channels button lets you organize how channels appear in your guide. Clicking the star icon next to a network name adds that channel to your favorites, making it easier to find shows on those channels. Using Fubo on a computer is similar, though we think the guide view is cleaner and easier to navigate. You can scroll down to view channels and scroll right to see what's coming up. Clicking on any title brings it up full screen. You can choose to record anything in the bottom left, where you can also rewind, pause, and fast forward. You can also record anything from the guide.
A few things to note about Fubo TV that aren't great are that you can't do much in your profile or account settings. On both a TV and computer, the only option is to switch profiles, view the plan you're on, view your account information, manage add-ons, access help, and get a $30 bonus for referring friends to the platform. Though it is worth noting that you can pause your Fubo subscription for up to 6 months here, and all of your settings or recordings will be saved while your subscription is paused. Beyond that, though, you can't set parental controls or filter content by age. It's really honestly not very robust.
No, it's not. Now let's move on to features, starting with Cloud DVR. Both the Pro and Elite plans include a Cloud DVR with 1,000 hours of storage. You can fast forward through ads on recordings and keep your recordings indefinitely.
Accessing your recordings is easy. Clicking the Recordings tab from the top menu brings up your recorded shows. Over on the right, you can see how many of your 1,000 hours you've used, and you can also view hours by profile.
You can scroll down to see your recordings, and you can filter them by all, sports, shows, and movies over on the right. You can also view your scheduled recordings by clicking Scheduled up on the top left. Clicking on any title brings up all the episodes that are scheduled to record. You can cancel any recording by clicking Cancel, and you can change recording options by clicking that button on the left. So if you're recording new episodes and reruns, you can switch to new episodes only, or you can cancel the entire series as well.
You can also search for any title using the search feature on the left. All of those filtering options are nice and helpful to have when your recordings start piling up.
Speaking of recordings, the fact that Fubo's DVR isn't unlimited may be disappointing to some. To determine if it's enough for you, you'll want to look at how many hours of programming you have recorded through another service, or think through how much you think you'll want to record. For us, the 1,000-hour DVR limit is not a problem, as we know we will never come close to using all that space. But your situation may be different. The best thing to do is to think through your actual needs and decide whether or not 1,000 hours is sufficient.
Now let's move on to another feature cord cutters care about, 4K content. FuboTV has more 4K sports events than any other premium live TV streaming service, but you have to pay $80 a month to get it since 4K is now only included in the Elite plan.
When you filter out the 4K sports events, there isn't a whole lot of 4K content on Fubo. For instance, during our test, the only 4K content available was a handful of non-sports titles and one sports channel that didn't have any 4K content on it at the time. Considering that you have to pay an extra $10 a month to get that limited 4K content, we don't think it's worth the cost.
Another factor cord cutters care about is Dolby sound integration. Unfortunately, at time of filming, FuboTV also does not support Dolby 5.1 sound.
Now let's move on to our final factor, supported devices. Like most other live TV streaming services, Fubo supports a long list of devices. Amazon Fire TV or stick devices, Android devices, Apple TV, Chromecast, and Roku streaming devices, as well as Samsung and Vizio smart TVs can all run Fubo TV. And you can even use an Xbox to watch Fubo TV.
So is Fubo TV worth it? At $70 and $80 a month, Fubo TV plans are at the top of the premium live TV streaming space. As we compared recently in our Hulu Live versus YouTube TV versus Fubo TV video, YouTube TV costs $5 less per month and includes the Turner networks. It also has an unlimited DVR, and while you can only stream on 3 screens at a time instead of unlimited ones, you can create 6 profiles with YouTube TV, which is the same for Fubo, and YouTube TV has robust parental controls, which Fubo does not.
Yeah, and Hulu Live, which costs the same as Fubo's Pro plan, also includes robust parental controls as well as a larger library of on-demand content, Hulu Originals, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus content. We really think for Fubo to compete with YouTube TV and Hulu Live, it needs to put 4K content back in its base plan and add those Turner networks at no additional cost. Those changes, as well as putting NBA TV, NHL Network, MLB Network, and the ESPN stations that are currently in the Elite plan in the Pro plan, would put it on even footing, if not slightly ahead of YouTube TV.
Until it makes some of those changes, we would honestly recommend going with YouTube TV since it costs $5 less per month at time of filming and offers an equally compelling channel lineup, if not slightly better, because it has the Turner networks.
Yeah, well, that does it for this review. Have you used Fubo TV? What do you think of it? Which service do you think is better between YouTube TV and Fubo TV? Let us know in the comments below.
And if you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can get our latest news and reviews when they drop. And if you know someone who would appreciate this review, share it with them. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on our next video.